Hi, my name is Jessica Callahan and I'm a tutor here at the Writing Center, which is found at the College of St. Rose, St. Joseph's Hall on the second floor. Some of the things that we do here at the Writing Center are to help people brainstorm, to review common errors, grammatical areas, but our main goal is to ensure that you, the student, become a better writer after you leave here. So we're not just here to help you correct your papers, but we really want you to learn a new skill when you come to us here at the Writing Center. So in order to get an appointment, we have either 30 or 60-minute appointment times. You can either call, which I highly suggest, especially now when we get into the middle of the semester. We have appointments pretty booked up, so call and make an appointment. Or if you wanted to, you could just stop on by and make an appointment with our secretaries up at front. So the purpose of today's discussion is that we wanted to talk about guidelines for quotations, summaries, and paraphrasing. And how we're going to get into that today is we're going to look at this example and then look at it from different perspectives or different lenses in terms of summaries and paraphrasing. So the parable that we have today is Professor Clark sent his students on an excursion with a mission to observe all the people walking past the Interfaith Center on the campus green side of the building, with instructions to identify the number of characteristics of people who look like they would shop at Lolly Wally Doodle and become loyal customers. So what we're going to do is look at a summary of that. Well, what is a summary? A summary is condensing the information, picking out what is most relevant to your paper, and leaving out any of the unnecessary details. Summaries are generally shorter than the original, and should be. So thinking about that first paragraph that we had, here is a summary example. Professor Clark's students had to observe and identify potential Lolly Wally Doodle customers. That is certainly true. That was part of the assignment. Students were asked to assess the people they observed on campus and identify characteristics that might be associated with customer loyalty. So again, out of that first paragraph, a very good idea. So two very strong ideas associated with the first paragraph. Now, to paraphrase is a little bit different than a summary. So what you're doing is it's going to be approximately the same length as the original, but it is necessary to change both the sentence and the wording as well as the structure. We have a good rule of thumb here at the Writing Center is that just switch it. The main idea at the end, put it in the beginning. And then what we also do is take our nifty little thesauruses and then change some of the words within the paragraph. And this eliminates any form of plagiarizing. And it's really important that we give credit where credit is due. So in this next example, you can see how it was the wording was changed as well as the structure flipped. As a result of Professor Clark's assignment, his students went to the quad area of the campus near the Interfaith Center, noting how many people were there and how those people appeared with regard to characteristics related to being loyal shoppers at Lolly Wally World. Again, we changed the number of words and we flipped the structure. Another example of paraphrasing from that same, the first paragraph that we saw, is that the students of Professor Clark's class spent time outside of the college's Interfaith Center in the area of the campus green, paying close attention to the number of people who walked by and evaluating them for the likelihood that they might become loyal Lolly Wally Doodle customers. Again, lots of word changes and flipping that structure was necessary, and this is a correct way to paraphrase without being thought of it being plagiarism. So, like we said before, it is necessary to change both the wording and the sentence structure with a paraphrase. So, we want to show you an example of would not be correct paraphrasing. So as you can see here, Professor Clark sent his students on an excursion. So the student in this example just changed excursion to outing with a mission to observe, and they changed to witness. All the people walking, they said moving, past the Interfaith Center on the campus side green of the building with instructions to identify the number and characteristics of people who look like, they changed it as appeared, if they would shop at Lolly Wally Doodle and become their loyal customers, and they just simply took that out. It is very important that you change the structure. This was not enough. We would have to bring this last idea up here or conveying it in between the two things to make sure that we're not plagiarizing. And really, this is the most important thing, that it's really just not necessary. It is necessary to both change the wording as well as the structure. For accuracy, it's often necessary to read and reread your sources before summarizing or paraphrasing. If you are having trouble understanding what you are reading, be sure to reread the introduction and the conclusion of the article and the entire paragraph in which the sentence is, so you don't misinterpret what the author has said. It is so important. You cannot start paraphrasing something if you do not know what you're reading. So make sure you comprehend what you're reading before you try to analyze it or paraphrase it or quote it in a research paper of your own. This is some examples of how it was not correctly paraphrased because the students simply did not understand what the original assignment was or the original idea. Professor Clark is always sending his students outside. No, he was just trying to get in one observation one time, so that's not true. Professor Clark wants everyone to be loyal to Lolly Wally Doodle. No, he was just trying to get a profile of who the Lolly Wally customer is. And the students in the Professor Clark's class like to spend time observing people. While that may be true, it is not reflected in our first paragraph. The students were instructed to do so for the class to observe students. So whether or not they like doing it or observing people could be debatable.